All right, good afternoon, everyone. We would like to welcome you to our Fall 2020 Higher and Post-Secondary Education Applied Project poster session. Thank you all for being here. First, we'd like to, of course, welcome our presenters and our graduate students who will be sharing with you all shortly about some of the work that they've done over the last 15 weeks, although in many cases for many of our students, this represents a longer engagement with the topic, whether it's through their own professional careers or through practicum experiences. But what this culminating project will give you an opportunity to do is to learn a little bit more about the things that they've been able to research and gather data on and share findings related to critical and timely issues within higher and post-secondary education context. I should have started by saying my name is Kia McGuire. I'm an associate professor in the higher and post-secondary education program. My gender pronouns are he, him, and his. Um, and I would also like to acknowledge the ancestral homelands of the Acme, Atham, and Peepash peoples' lands, which we all are working from and learning on. And so I would like to start by simply sharing a little bit about the program and more importantly, where this project fits within that within students' learning experiences. And then I'll turn it over to my colleague, Dr. McIntyre, who will share a little bit more about the floor of the events for today. Again, our higher and post-secondary education program is an opportunity and a learning experience that's really geared to prepare professionals to work in a variety of contexts on college and university campuses. One of the things that has become a core identity of our program has been the process by which we help and work alongside students as they learn ways to gather data, analyze data, all in the service of improving higher education practice and policy wherever they may be located. And so this applied inquiry or applied project, that poster session that you see here today is a culmination of a 15-week exercise or experience. During the first 7.5 weeks, our students have an opportunity to design a project. Of course, these projects are oftentimes very ambitious, and over our 15 weeks, we are able to pare it down into something that is not only manageable, but that will be impactful with the data that they're able to gather. And then in this session B of the semester, students are able to carry out their research project. And we'll get a little bit towards this at the end of the session today when we give some thank yous, but you should know this represents not only the work of our students and the faculty who are in the classroom, but also a number of mentors who sign up to work with students along and help give feedback on their projects as they're being designed and carried out. So we look forward to you all engaging with our students today, asking them questions, learning about their research, and hopefully having a very invigorating conversation. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Dr. McIntyre, who will say a little bit more about how the rest of the afternoon will be spent.
Thank you. Hi there. My name is Lisa McIntyre. I am an executive director in the University Provost Office at ASU and teach in the Master in Higher Ed program. The applied project is one of my favorite classes because, as Dr. McGuire said, this is about the topics that the students are most interested in. And so I always learn a lot about topics that I maybe don't get exposure to on a regular basis. So I hope all our guests have that same experience. Our students will be presenting in small breakout rooms of 3 to 4 folks. Dr. McGuire is going to put a link in the chat where you can find the Zoom breakout room link for the individual that you're here to support or the breakout room that you're most interested in. They are grouped by topics. We ask that you mute your microphones. You're all doing a great job of that if you're not the one presenting. We will present in order of the link that Dr. McGuire just shared. There will be a facilitator in the room to just kind of make sure all the technical pieces go right. They will be recorded sessions. We also ask that you hold all your questions until all of the presentations in your breakout room are complete. And then we'll open up that session for questions. We do encourage you to ask questions. These folks are experts on this topic and have spent a lot of time and energy becoming experts. And so this is a great opportunity for them to answer any questions that you might have. Once all the presentations in your breakout room are complete, we ask you to come back to this main session room for us to wrap up the program. So with that, Dr. McGuire, anything I missed or you want to add before we break out?
Nope, that's it. And please reach out to us for any questions that you might have. Dr. McIntyre and I will be moving from room to room. I see that I just got a message in the chat asking, can individuals move from room to room? Yes, as long as you're not a presenter. So all of our guests beyond the students are able to, again, move as you would like to bounce around to hear different topics of conversation and discussion. And so again, at this time, we'll give folks about 5 to 7 minutes to make your way over to your rooms. For our students who are on the call, again, look at the sheet as well so that you can go to the room that you will be in. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So thank you and welcome all again.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Wilma Jackson. I am a part of the downtown cohort for the higher education program. Today, I want to talk about my research project, which is first-time full-time freshman sense of belonging in the new College of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences at Arizona State University. So when first coming up with this, trying to figure out my project, I really wanted to take it back to my roots. I did my undergraduate here at ASU and I did it with New College. And I was really involved in the aspects of the college. And so I really wanted to kind of understand a first-time freshman sense of belonging within the college, but kind of with a twist. And since we're not in the traditional sense of college right now with the pandemic going on, I kind of wanted to take it a step further. So kind of my research problem is understanding the sense of belonging and how that affects a student's retention at the university with internal and external factors. But my research question is, how does the implementation of social distancing due to COVID-19 affect a full-time, first-time freshman's ability to find their sense of belonging on campus? So the methodology that I used for this, when kind of thinking about what I wanted to do, initially I wanted to do kind of a survey, but I felt that it wouldn't really give the true responses of these students and their experiences thus far. So instead of doing kind of a 10 question survey, I decided to send a pre-screener survey to GAIN participants. That survey only had about 5 questions, mostly demographic questions, gender, race, ethnicity, the definition of what a first-time full-time freshman is so that the student understands, and also if they were interested in being interviewed for their experiences. So I did interviews conducted via Zoom with full-time first-time freshmen at the college. And then the study participants that I used were current freshmen in the new college at ASU. So my results, so I sent out the pre-screener survey to 386 students in the new 101 course, which is the ASU experience course for freshmen in the new college. With the help of the assistant director for student success at New College, I was able to get this sent out. Of those 386 students, I had about 28 responses, 11 who said they did want to be interviewed, and ended up interviewing 4 students in total. With the interviews, I did have some students who initially wanted to be interviewed, but then decided to back out. And I had multiple attempts to reach out to multiple students to try to see if I could get at least 5 students. I ended up having 3 females and 1 male, and all students are of different multiracial and ethnic backgrounds. Some of the key findings that I found were kind of split down the middle, but I did find some pretty common themes from all 4 students as COVID-19 and social distancing kind of affects their sense of belonging on campus. The 4 that I found that were most prevalent were academics. A lot of students mentioned time management, the connection with their peers, faculty, college staff, and campus resources, as well as the overall theme of sense of belonging. About half of my participants did agree that the implications of social distancing due to COVID-19 did impact their sense of belonging, but the other half did not agree that that affected that for them. So some of the quotes I got from some of the students, two of the themes that I found very common in this was time management. When talking to students about time management, it seemed it was mostly kind of the normal aspects of trying to adjust to, the college schedule, having to turn in assignments online, having that 11:59 due date. But I did have a student who lives off campus, and they also have an off campus job, Sam. They mentioned that they had to create a stricter schedule for themselves than they did in high school, especially had to make their job work with their college schedule, and had to be really strict with themselves being at home due to COVID and making sure they were able to wake up in time for class, and get assignments turned in. Another participant named Chad, he had kind of the same answer for that. He said that, with all the assignments being due at midnight instead of during an actual class like it was in high school, it made him realize how much time there actually is in a day. And this was common with the other two students as well, but these two quotes kind of spoke out to me, which are common things with sense of belonging and kind of adjust to that college life. This one was a big one with connection with peers, faculty, and staff, and campus resources. All students that I talked to did mention that a lot of the communication they have with their peers is through emails or group chats or social media. And also with faculty and college staff, it's mostly through emails and Zoom. But I had two quotes here that kind of stood out to me as I was interviewing these students, from Jane. She as a forensic science major, and she has a biology professor that does Sun Devil support, as a way for her to connect with other peers. This student is also in a campus club as well, a gaming club, which she said really helped her connect with other peers from other campuses. And then this quote from her said, I feel like we're doing really supportive overall. Her biology professor does Sun Devil support every Friday to help her connect and socialize. So it helps her a little bit. And then this other quote from Sam, she talked about how contacting academic advising and how that experience was really good for her because she is switching to be a fully online student, rather than a campus student. So she had to make the switch online for the following semester. She contacted advising. She had a really good connection with the advisor she talked to. She was able to sign up for her classes and figure out what her schedule looked like for the following semester. So implications to practice, going forward, if I were to go forward with this research, we're definitely understanding how we can see trends in retaining first-time, full-time freshmen in the pandemic and see if that affects other cohorts such as sophomores, juniors, and seniors as well. Seeing that some sophomores, juniors, and seniors may have started college in the more traditional sense, and then switching to this kind of different new normal that we have now. I also talked about maybe collaboration with other campus resources, such as the Writing Center, career services, or even university housing, as more than half of the students I talked to were on-campus students, to try to figure out how to help them in that sense. For the research, I did have more questions that could be looked into further, and how does the racial and ethnic background of a student affect their sense of belonging during college in a pandemic, and then what does this look like for sophomore, junior, and senior cohorts across the board. And if you have any questions regarding the research, this is my contact information. Thank you for everyone that showed up today to hear the presentation. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. So thank you for that, Jordan. So I have to say, this is my first time participating in a virtual poster session, and that felt like a whirlwind, but in a good way. So thank you all for your presentations. Both Dr. McIntyre and I had an opportunity to hop around from room to room. I'm actually going to stop talking and turn over to Dr. McIntyre, and I'll say a little bit more to close us out at the end.
All right. I just wanted to congratulate all of you. You should be very proud of what you did. I know this semester was like none other. Just like Dr. McGuire, that was my first virtual poster session. And I just want to commend you all on your resilience and determination in making it work. We had all kinds of fun challenges to work through, and we all did it and had great communication. And I think you all, just the potential is limitless for all of you. So I wish you all the best of luck. I hope to hear updates from you all where your careers take you, and um, always here as a resource for you all. So I see all the applause and celebrations going up. It might be a bit much to unmute and do a round of applause, but want to thank all the guests, family members who were able to join us today. That is one of the great things about our virtual opportunity, is that I think we might have been able to expand our audience a bit more. We will be sharing recordings with the students. So if you weren't able to have a guest join us today, please share it with them. There's no way any of us would have made it through this program without all the support of our family and friends. And I also want to thank our colleagues. So every student in this part of the project has access to a professional mentor who's met with them multiple times throughout the semester and giving them feedback and encouragement. And so thank you all for doing that for our students. It really was great to see the feedback and insights, and having that other perspective to bounce ideas around was really helpful and benefited the work. So all right, well, I'll stop gushing. Dr. McGuire, what did you have?
Yeah, so just one more thank you before we move on, which is to Jody and her team, who have handled all the logistical responsibilities for today, is setting up the virtual rooms, making sure that all the Zoom links work, and making sure that we have facilitators in each room. So thank you to Jody, Ashley, Pinnock, Liam, Caitlin, for your support and making sure that this program went off without any hiccups. So thank you all very much for making this easy for Dr. McIntyre and myself. I also would just like to echo Dr. McIntyre and thank our mentors. Usually we have like mentors and program instructors like raise their hand. I think there's a reaction to do that. So if you know how to raise your hand or put a thumbs up, maybe if you want to put a thumbs up, how about that? So that we can acknowledge all of our mentors and program faculty who teach and work alongside our students throughout the program. Your support is sincerely and deeply appreciated. As you all know, I think one of the biggest strengths of our program is that we have meaningful and long-lasting relationships with individuals who are educators and scholars working both at ASU, but also across the Valley, and sometimes as well as in other states. And so we appreciate the support that you provide, and the mentorship, and the learning that you, or the way that you help to expand the learning of our students in our program. So thank you very much for that. And most importantly, I want to say congratulations and thank you to our students. I'm sure it cannot go overstated, I think, how unique this semester has been. And you all continue to approach the project and your capstone experience with enthusiasm, with a level of dedication, a level of flexibility and creativity that I think I was just excited to see, and gave me also energy as I entered and worked with you all over the last 7.5 weeks. And so I know very few things feel like it's normal as far as celebrating things in this particular context, but we do hope that you will find time to honor this moment in some way, to reflect back on all of the hard work that you've accomplished over your time in the program, and that you are able to enjoy at least a moment of reprieve with family and friends and colleagues, because what you have accomplished not only today and throughout the semester, but over the program is definitely worth celebrating. And it has been our pleasure to be on this journey alongside of you. So there's just two more things before we wrap up. So first one is kind of an announcement of sorts, which is at the very end, we'll ask all mentors, program faculty, and students to stay on the call so that we can take a photo. We may have to take multiple photos. I actually don't know how this works, taking photos in Zoom, but Jody will be here to assist us with that. And also every semester during the capstone experience, we have an opportunity to recognize a student, one of your colleagues and peers, who is nominated by program faculty as a recognition for their achievement and contributions both inside and outside of the classroom, to the higher and post-secondary education program. And so this year we'll have an opportunity to do the same. And what I'm going to do is just share very briefly what one nominator said about this particular student before I announce who the student is. And again, we and Lindsay, Dr. Dipple, who is on the call, normally does this part and does it much more eloquently than I do as I fumble through this process. But it's really an opportunity for us to recognize a peer who has made significant contributions, who has also impressed upon faculty with their dedication, not simply in this course, but throughout the program, and is therefore worthy of the nomination. We usually will hand you a piece of paper or a certificate of an award framed. We will have to connect after this in order to pass that along to you. But one nominator said about this student, that this student is extremely engaged. They also demonstrate a high level of intellectual curiosity, and they also not only work well with students, but embrace collaboration, and that this student in particular deserves recognition for their outstanding contributions that they made to the learning environment within and across classrooms. And so without further ado, that student is Dakota Weber. So let's give Dakota a round of applause. And also, Dakota, congratulations. I know you didn't know this was happening. You and I can connect after to make sure that you get your certificate and award. But again, congratulations, and for an award that's well deserved. Okay. Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. All right. So we're going to stop there. Again, thank you for everyone who came and visited with us. We'll ask for the students and program faculty and mentors to stay on so that we can get one picture, and we'll share that out with everyone as well.